This is Damon Fordham, adjunct professor of history at the Citadel. And if those of you who've been following my page lately, you know that I very recently spent a lot of time in Senegal and the Gambia in West Africa, and I did a few videos out there. And one of the things that I did while I was there was I spent a lot of time with the griots, the historians and storytellers of that region who for many, up to many thousands of years perhaps, spent time passing down stories from generation to generation. And these stories were very important to the people of those regions because long before they had the written word, as a matter of fact, there's a historian there by the name of Hassoum Cisse who said it like this. He said that our children, even adults, including leaders, need to be reminded that in Gambian society of yore, adults' fireside chats and stories were meant to entertain and communicate the values of our society for a healthy living. And so basically, this was how they used stories to instruct people. So while I was in Banjul, the capital of Gambia, I went to a museum there, and they had this book, which was a collection of these wise stories that they used to teach people, and it was called Sona Mariama Folk Tales from the Gambia. And in it, it has some very wise and inspiring stories that they used to teach life lessons and to help people along their way. Now, you notice I said the title of it was Sona Mariama. Well, who was Sonia Mariama? Well, here's the story. The story goes that this Sona Mariama was a beautiful 16-year-old young girl in Gambia, West Africa, or what is now Gambia, I should say. And she was so beautiful that she had a terrible problem. Her father was so vile that he wanted to marry his own daughter. The slack hog. And her mother couldn't do much about it because, the man had the say in the community at that time. And so naturally, Sona Mariama wanted nothing to do with such a vile and disgusting and slack idea. So she sat with her mother and said, "Mother, what should I do?" And the mother said, "Here's what you do, daughter. The morning before he wants to marry you, you go out to the well and tell him that you're going to get some water. And when he comes asking for the water, that's when you run and hide." She said, "All right." So next day they did just that. Sona Mariama said, "Well, Father, I'm going to go get some water." And she said, "All right." So she went to the well and she ran deep, deep, deep into the woods. And she grew so sad and lonesome in the woods, so the story goes, that she ran over and she asked the fellow where was the nearest elephant. He said, "What do you want with an elephant?" He said, "What?" She said, "Well, I'm in this terrible situation. I'm lost, alone in the woods, and I want this elephant to stomp on me and kill me because my father is so disgusting that he wants to marry his own daughter." "Why, that's a terrible thing." "Well, hey, I know somebody who can help you." "Oh, really? Who's that?" "Follow me." And this man took her deep, deep into the woods. And then all of a sudden, this very handsome gentleman came up. "Aha, who is this?" "I am Sona Mariama." "Oh, I see. Well, what is your problem, child?" And she told him. And he said, "Oh, that's your problem, huh? Go get your father." "Huh? You heard me. Go get your father." "I don't want to see him again." "Hey, listen, do what I tell you. Go get your dad." So she went and got her father. And the father said, "Uh-oh." And the man said, "Yes, you know who I am now, right?" And the father bowed down and said, "Oh, forgive me, O king." Sona Mariam's going, "Huh?" And he said, "Yes, child, I am the king. And you, sir, are a disgusting son of a jackal, wanting to marry your own daughter. What kind of disgusting mess is that? We don't play that stuff around here. Guards, go and beat this man and send him to the woods." And sure enough, they grabbed the daddy and beat the daddy, and they sent him off to where he was banished forever from the community. "And now," said the king, "you are going to be my wife and the queen of the nation." And so so beautiful Sona Mariama married the king and thus became the rightful queen and ruled with wisdom. So what's this have to do with you? Well, the reason that they told that story was to inspire young girls to understand that. Now, I don't pretend to know what it is like to be a young lady and to go through that situation, but apparently whoever made up that story in Gambia did. And they told stories like that not to be taken as literal fact, perhaps, but to let young people know that, hey, you can be in a bad situation, but if you stick with it and you find the right people that'll help you, you could possibly get out of it and be even better than that, triumph. Because you know what? Real history is filled with people who did just that. And if it inspires you to do that, well, this story would have served its purpose. This is Damon Fordham.